Hey, what's going on, Vikings fans? We are back with another Skol Side cast, another one of these videos that we're bringing to you guys. And today's video, we got to talk about the man, number 8, probably the most talked about Minnesota Viking we have had in this franchise in a while. I mean, it is just polar opposite views on him, no matter where you look for Vikings fans. And today we're going to be talking about what we all think we should do with the future. We all agree that he's earned the right to be the quarterback next year, but this is a very star-studded QB draft coming up. Should they take one, and what do they do after? Because Cousins, I mean, before we hopped on live, Jim was saying he makes $45 million, not next year, but the year after. That's insane, and that's what we're gonna be talking about in this video. Is really what should the Vikings do with Kirk Cousins? And Mikey, Jim, you guys want to get it going? What would you guys do if you're Rick Spielman and you see this QB situation and you got the draft coming up?
Rick
Yeah,
Spielman.
Rick Spielman.
Slick Rick.
Slick
Actually
Rick.
at it again this year. I mean, he's honestly in a pretty. It's gonna be a tough one for him because
Yep.
I mean, you look at this team as a whole. There's a lot of holes to fill. You know, I mean, there's a lot of arguments to be made where they go with their, especially their first pick. Line's a big factor. D line, O line. Even you can argue safety. I mean, they're going to need a young safety and quarterback too. I mean, like you said, Kirk's got 2 years left. They got to find that guy eventually. So I don't see Kirk being here after 2 years unless, like Jim said, they restructure and they might have to extend him again to kind of lower that cap hit, which is definitely a possibility because you can't have Kirk
No.
Cousins making $45 million.
No.
Pat Mahomes or anything like that. That's just absolute insanity. So I mean, we all agree that he'll be here next year. And there's just no way they're going to be able to get rid of him. You can't trade him. No one's going to want that contract. I know there's teams out there looking for quarterback help, but I just don't see him getting moved. So, but I would definitely. I'm kind of in in that pool where I think you have to draft one in the first round. I think you got to take that chance because this quarterback class is so loaded. And I mean, honestly, the Vikings just don't have a backup, like a competent backup. Sean Mannion is not the answer, and they've never really had a young quarterback
No.
here that's really blossomed. Like Teddy, obviously, he was here, but then he got hurt. Christian Ponder obviously was a big bust. So I mean, they got to find that guy eventually, the franchise, because I think the name of the game to win the NFL these days is to find a quarterback on a rookie contract, so you can fill those other holes that you need. You can spend up on skill positions, defensive guys. So I mean, and it's just class is loaded. I mean, if you have a chance at Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, I mean, his stock is really high right now. So, and you can also argue they could possibly trade up too, because they do got some draft capital. But yeah, I mean, I think you should get a first round quarterback, but I think Kirk will be here next year and he'll be the guy. And then you got to just figure out how to play to his strengths. You got to draft, or you got to find that. He needs a top 5 offensive line to really be successful.
Yeah.
Proven. He just can't have a lot of pressure on him. And then we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of in that ballpark where they should probably go get one in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree. I'll just take the opposite side here, and here's what I'll say. 2021, all right, so Zimmer's coming back. I know we're all sad, but Zimmer will be back in 2021. And the biggest thing I'll say is I mean, it's really important. I mean, the Vikings have to go all in. It's really this year, or if they're not very good next year, then Zimmer's probably gone, Spielman's gone, and then honestly, the new people would probably come in and just let Cousins play out that last year, maybe even on a $45 million cap hit, and then start a rebuild. So if you're the Vikings, I think what you do is you really go all in on Kirk Cousins, and what I mean by that is basically they have to. There are a couple good offensive guards here. In free agency, there's Brandon Sharif, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, from Washington, and Joe Thuney from New England.
Yeah.
Those are two guys that they really have to target because Dakota Dozier can't play, It can't be a starter. They went into this year with Dakota Dozier and Pat Elflein as their starting guards, which is just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
They've seen 2 years of Kirk Cousins, and they were still okay with doing that. It's crazy to me. But basically, what I think they need to do is they need to tailor the offense to a little bit more pass happy. I'm not saying to abandon the run, but I mean, I'm talking about getting really solidify the offensive line, figure out what you're doing at left tackle, and really go all in on them in 2021. So I'm going to say go against drafting a quarterback in the first round, and looking for that third wide receiver or that another offensive lineman. To me, the only way they're going to get to where they want to go in 2021 is their offense goes from 11th in points to top 5 in points. Not yards, not be 18th in scoring percentage, which they were this year. They need to be top 5 offense because defensively, they'll definitely be better, but they're not going from 30 to 5 next year.
No.
Like, it's not happening. Like, someone's going to have to go into Zimmer, and I know this is probably not going to happen, but this is what I would do. Has to go to Zimmer and tell him that, look, you want to be the coach after 2021, you want to finish your career here, then you need to. Your best chance of winning is making sure your offense is elite, coaching like it. So it's finding a third wide receiver, not get rid of. I like the Kubiak Shanahan scheme that they have. They can still run the ball, play action. That's fine, but also mix in some quick throws to Jefferson, Thielen. Be flexible offensively. Get a third wide receiver and a pass blocking offensive line. Not one, just a good offensive line. Pat, you said it we were just talking about the Vikings in short yard situations are just so bad because they get mauled. And so my suggestion is if Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback in 2021, he's probably going to be here in 2022. You got to go all in on him. If you sign him to a contract extension, do what he does best. All right, so I would say that would be my priority is making sure that he has everything in 2021. So you are an elite offense. So that's their best chance of winning, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between both of you. Listen, I think let's just say if Spielman and Zimmer, or hopefully not Zimmer's in there, let's just say Spielman's sitting down and he's just thinking about like his future with Kirk, and if he's like, I really want to go draft a quarterback this year, I say you go all in on that and you try to move into the top 5. Spielman, I don't know how many 6th, 7th, and 5th rounders they exactly have this year, but they definitely have a lot. You definitely, like you guys said, they have the draft capital to go trade up. I would go try to get Zach Wilson. If you really want to draft a quarterback, do what the Chiefs did, and you go all in on that guy, because then, all right, let's just say they draft him at 14 and they get like Trask or something like that. There's not really there's not really a sense of urgency to play him and to build around him since they kind of just stand pat at 14 and took him because he was there. But if they say, hey, we're moving up to 6, we're moving up to 5 and we're taking Zach Wilson, then it's like, hey, Kirk, you still got this 1 year, see what you can get done. But it's his time. He is the franchise because we're trading a lot of picks. We're moving up in the draft to get him. Then again, if Spielman's sitting there and he's like, hey, I like Kirk, I like what we have, then just like what you said, Jim, you go all in. I'm sick of this in-between stuff that the Vikings are in. I mean, you pay a quarterback $30 million, but you don't build around his strengths. I mean, it doesn't take the best football mind to look at the Vikings and say, hey, Kirk probably can't handle interior pressure. We should probably get interior pressure help and get a good center, get a good guard. I just really don't want the Vikings to be in between this. I mean, like you said, on big moments in third down. How many times, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, how many times the Vikings run the ball this year? I mean, just a percentage of when it was big moments and it's these big momentum drives and it's these drives that make teams. They would rely on the run game. And listen, their thought process is probably, oh, we got to get the ball to Dalvin right now. He's our best player, which he is. But it's not just Dalvin in the run game. It's the whole offensive line. It's Irv. It's CJ Ham. It just takes one of those guys to really mess up. And then Dalvin is not Dalvin. He's just another running back. So I agree with you, Jim, too, on just if they are going to stick with Cousins, just give him everything he wants this year. Like, what do you have to lose? I mean,
Well,
yeah.
and also, I mean, talking about their draft capital, remember they got 2 threes,
2
3
threes.
fours.
Yeah, see,
3
you got
fives.
you got enough.
So
Like,
that's 8 mid-round picks. And again, like a lot of where the drafts are won is usually those rounds where you
Yeah.
find value and you find guys that can come in and produce for you in 3, 4, and 5. But you don't have a second because you need back way.
Yeah.
But you have ammo to move up,
Yep.
and whether it's a quarterback or it's another position
Yeah.
that you like to move up and get guys. I'm always in for drafting a quarterback in the first round. They haven't drafted a quarterback, a legit quarterback, since Teddy Bridgewater. So I'm all for that. Actually, I agree with Mike 100%. They should be looking. I mean, if they don't draft one in the first round, there are other quarterbacks. Like someone that's not Sean Mannion as your backup.
Yeah,
like a
that too.
developmental guy. Like, because God forbid if Cousins. One thing I always give him, he's a tough guy. I mean, he takes hits and he never misses a game. And frankly, I've never even seen him on an injury report.
Yeah.
But like, he play. He's always been durable. But God forbid, like, say you are in a slump and like the Eagles are at least able to, and they're in a bad situation with what they are. But they're having a terrible situation with Carson Wentz. They were able to turn to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And, he's a developmental quarterback, and he showed some really good things.
Yeah.
So I'm usually all for that. Just knowing where Zimmer and Spielman are, they know if they don't have a good year next year, and, again, this is with Vikings ownership, I wouldn't be sure. It would be nice if they, put expectations. 10-6 and a wild card win shouldn't be good enough next year.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the goal. Like, they should be playing a divisional round as a home team and expected to be in the NFC Championship game. Like, 10-6 is fine, and like playing a wild card game, but you pay your quarterback $30 million, and you've extended all your core pieces, and we've been a 500 team.
Yep.
So for me, with Zimmer and Spielman, like, if they have a bad year, they're gone. So I just think for them, it would just be, easier going all in with the guy and making sure he has everything. So they're a 12-13 win team, which I don't think they're going to get to, but that's what I would do.
Yeah. No, I agree. And plus with the Philly situation, I mean, they took Hurts in the second round. I mean, it's not like they had their guy. I mean, listen, if going in the year, let's just say Philly, let's just say for some reason Wentz popped off this year. He had a good year. Okay, so you have a second-round quarterback. You could probably trade him. I'm sure another team would be like, oh, let me see or you can just keep him. Like, he doesn't need to play right away if you take a guy in the third round. I know there's that guy from Cincy who is kind of floating around there who's not bad. I mean, listen, you're not going to get a stud prospect, but I'm also down for that too. Use one of those 12 mid-round picks. Pick up a guy, say you're the backup, have him listen, Cousins is also probably a smart guy. He's a really nice guy. He would probably help this kid a lot too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
it's tough.
Cousins knows, like,
yeah.
He's been in the league for what, 8 years now? Like, or 9 years. So I don't know. Like, I would definitely be down for them to draft a guy that like can sit and develop. Like, definitely, they should do that no matter what their situation is.
And he's Cousins is a smart enough and self-aware enough person. Like, if they brought in Zach Wilson, I'm sure he would understand. Be like, hey, this is still my team, but like also the Packers. The damn Green Bay Packers took a quarterback in the first round last year, and people were livid. Now look at them. Maybe it lit something under Rodgers. Maybe it could light something under Kirk. I don't know. Like, you also got to think about it that way.
Yeah, good point.
I'm never gonna make fun of the Green Bay Packers again.
Never.
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 I mean, Matt LaFleur's a really good coach, and I knew they were going to be good this year anyway. I think I predicted around 10, 11 wins, but to win 13 games back-to-back, and, all of us, included with everyone else, we kind of, like, gave them a lot of crap for their draft last year. But, those guys that they drafted with the tight ends and the running backs and all that stuff.
It's what they needed.
They produce.
Yep.
Like, they produce.
They wanted to get tougher. They wanted to get tougher. They did.
So, kudos to them because, it's probably not the smartest to draft those positions as high as they did.
Yeah.
But
wait, how many years does Rodgers have when they drafted Love? 3? Because
I
he's
think so 3. So
3, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not insane to draft a quarterback in the first round.
no, I mean if the Packers are going to go with Jordan Love at some point, like it's probably going to be after next year because
Yeah.
in the third year of his contract for Jordan Love's contract, like you got to play him at some point.
Also, how good is that for him though? He's gonna sit behind Rodgers for
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of information he's gonna get is better than anywhere else. Yeah.
And remember, Mahomes sat for a year. Like,
Exactly.
there's definitely ways to do this. Like, I mean, it's just, I mean, let's not take nothing against Nate Stanley and Jake Browning, but like,
No,
those
you
seem like practice squad
you
guys.
took him in the 7th round when they probably would have been, or Stanley would have went undrafted. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That's what we think we should do with Kirk. I mean, you could have so many conversations about the Vikings quarterback situation. It's pretty insane. But hope you guys are enjoying these. Leave a like on the video, comment down below. Sub if you haven't. That's what we all think we should do with our man, Kirk Cousins. See you guys next time.